I said 8:04 and it is 8:04. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 228. Your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Anchor.fm or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment. Tonight there will be some Star Trek. All super chats are read on the air so long as they will not permanently demonetize the channel. We are drinking alcohol on the show, and if you're drinking alcohol, and if you're drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, easy to say when you're sober, let us know in the chat and we'll give some early show shoutouts as we go along. Last but not least, if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Patreon. Good God. Link is down in the video description. As a bonus, you'll get exclusive access to the Discord server, where you can chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and take part in the awesome community that hangs out over there.
There we go. We got through
it. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
John.
Jeff, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Good.
Good. So I don't know if you saw my tweet that went out, but I said, man, I could really use a beer. And then I said, John, I've been drinking since February. So, I've been following along, but what is this? Beer 8788 that we're about to get?
Yeah, this will be 80. So I think we might hit 90 today.
Wow.
Might hit 90 on this show. So
excellent.
Yes. I am, however, a little behind on my numbers because we were calculating the amount and I was hoping to hit 200. Mm-hmm. And tomorrow is the halfway point, day 23.
So tomorrow's going to be a busy day is what you're saying.
So I might just have to bite the bullet and do a couple of Coors Lights just to get them down. For it. Yeah, just to get them down, being like, okay, this will work.
Now you know what a day in the life of craft computing is like, because it's like some days it's like I'm raring to go. It's like I need to film a video. I'm on it, and it's like, yeah, I get to have a beer and do work at the same time. And I'll be honest with you, there's other days where it's like, man, I'm tired. I just spent like 5 hours writing this. I don't want a beer right now.
Oh, I am. Actually, that is kind of odd though, because I am not getting sick of beer. I am getting sick of styles, sure, but I am not getting sick of beer.
Interesting.
Which was very odd for me. Yeah. I thought that would have been like, I don't ever want a beer again, or
right.
I'll power through. Now, flavor-wise, everything is insane.
Yeah.
Like beers I thought were fantastic just taste like syrup now. I'm betting I could actually taste flavor in a Bud Light. I think I actually could.
Wow.
So that's how sensitive they are.
It
would probably taste sweet to me and be like, wow, yeah, I taste sweet corn.
Yeah. Scotty Fitz says, sounds like John has to bite the bullet. Get it?
Yeah. I think that's just malt liquor though, so I couldn't.
Right. Oh. So how are you feeling overall?
Overall, that's the one thing I'm a lot of people keep asking me that. I feel fantastic. I have energy. I have more energy than I normally do. Now I can't overexert myself, but I can still play with my kid.
Right.
I still toss him around, although I do get tired. And the weirdest part is it happened even today. I needed a beer.
Yeah.
Or I needed calories. So I just took a beer. All of my instincts are saying, no, don't have a beer when you're tired. Right. That's dumb.
Right. Never drink alone. Never drink when you're tired. Never, there's rules.
There are rules. And I start doing it. I'm like, and then 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh yeah. It's like Popeye and spinach. It's like, yeah.
That totally needs to be a shirt.
Yeah. So that's the oddest thing, is to kind of, you're like, oh, you're feeling down, you have to have a beer. And that's just weird.
Yeah.
It is so weird.
Yeah, instead of growing muscles, you get rabbit ears. Right?
I get it. Hops.
Let's see. We do have a $5 super chat from Drake. Hey, it's been a while since I've caught the live show. Been dealing with depression. Hope you two have been well. I hope you are doing well, Drake.
Yeah. Don't talk about us. Talk about you, man.
Glad you could join us.
I hope we give you some joy that you get to catch the live show.
Yeah. Man, hope you get to feeling better.
Yeah.
Because I don't talk about this often, but I do have generalized anxiety. And it's, as so many of my colleagues in this realm do, but I've had it forever. And it's a tough thing. But the best advice I can give is, number one, don't give people advice who say they're depressed or anxious. Well, you just tried, being happy or going for a walk or some crap like that.
Go outside. It's fine. The sun shines.
Same thing when I mentioned I get migraines is like, well, have you tried Excedrin migraine? Because I heard that's shut up. Just shut up.
It's not like the first time I've had this.
Right. Yeah. Oh, have you just tried not having headaches? Like,
oh,
God.
Yeah.
Try some echinacea. Yeah. All I can say is I hope you're doing well, and I hope you have a great day tomorrow.
Yep. Nope. Just keep going. And I think just about everyone I've ever known, and self including, have experienced some form of depression at one time or another. And it just hits you, and it stinks. It really stinks, and it's hard, and you can feel at the bottom of a well.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just like, I don't know when this is gonna end, and that's hard. It is hard. So get better, feel better, know that we care. If you need to, DM us in the Patreon.
Yep.
We'll talk.
Yep. Yeah, Drake's around in the Patreon, and you can be too. Join the Discord.
Yeah.
Sorry to turn the depression into a plug for my social
media.
Wasn't. But...
That's why I was like, should I say Discord really quick? I don't know. I don't think he wants his depression on the YouTube comments. So I was like, okay, that's all we know. I know he's on there.
Today's show is brought to you by the Patreon and Drake's depression. Get joined in for.
Yeah, maybe we are going too far.
But seriously, hope you're doing well, man.
Yeah. I thought I saw. We got the net guy's got Voodoo Ranger Starship IPA. He's drinking that.
It's a really good
one. That's a good one.
Let's see. Cork Solutions drinking an Aberlour cask. Some kind of scotch. Aberlour. Boy, barrel strength. I think he meant to say cask strength.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because unless he missed the point there to be 6.7%.
Right. No, that's 134 proof.
Which
I have some bottles of a similar ilk up on my shelf. I know I have a 118. I know I have a 111. I think I have a 125 as well. So I've got some up there. But Aberlour cask strength, I'm assuming 67% with a 2-inch ice cube, or 134 proof. William's got an Elijah Craig on the rocks. Yep. That's also a fantastic choice. Love me a good Elijah single batch.
Let's see.
Jeremy's got a New Belgium Voodoo Ranger, 9%.
Nice.
Drinking organic brew Dr. Kombucha. That's from Maddie.
We got Michael's having I don't even know, a draft sake.
Sake.
So 14%. I don't even want to try to pronounce
a draft sake. Novella's got a Clown Shoes Snow on the Maple Tree Stout, aged in maple bourbon barrels.
Ooh, I do love a good Clown Shoes, man. I remember they used to be really big, and for some reason they got stopped being distributed out here for too much.
Yeah. And then Skull drinking a Boulder Beer Irish Blessing. It's a coffee stout aged on Jameson Irish whiskey and soaked in oak chips.
That would probably be very tasty.
Yeah, I think he just won for the night.
Probably.
Although that Aberlour Scotch does sound pretty tasty too. Love me a good cask strength. All right, John, what is beer number 88 for you?
Beer number 88. Is it 88 or 89?
I know you posted 86 and I think 87 earlier today. So this 88, 89-ish.
Yeah, just for clarification, let me look at my count here. This is 89, so we'll hit 90. We'll hit 90. So, like I said, I was playing with my son. I needed a beer. I have a seasonal, or what is this? Cloudburst? No, yeah, Cloud Curtain. A double dry hop Nelson Sauvin Oat IPA. Let's go. There it is. So just a nice oat IPA, double dry hop with Nelson Sauvin, courtesy of Untapped.
So I'm trying to Paralyzed effect, I think. Coriolis, I think, effect. Coriolis effect. It's from New Image Brewing. It is a New Zealand style IPA, which I'm gonna have to ask Trippic when he gets on chat later tonight what in the world a New Zealand style IPA is. Hard out fizzy drink for the chili bin is what it says on top.
Is it made with kiwis?
No idea. The Coriolis effect makes storms in the southern hemisphere rotate the opposite direction. Okay, so it's the gravitational pull. It pulls stronger on the outside than the inside, and more facts for you. Okay, fine. Did you know New Zealand has more species of penguin than any other place on Earth? There is a kiwi bird and a kiwi fruit, and they basically look the same. I think that was intentional.
Yeah.
And they taste the same. Okay, that's not true. But we did highlight the tropical citrus flavors of the hops grown in New Zealand and paired them with a lush, dense mouthfeel and a dry finish. So, New Zealand grown hops. I can't say that I've ever had that before.
Oh no, New Zealand has some really good hops. So I've had a few. I know.
I'm sure I've had some, but I don't know that I've never knowingly.
Yes, exactly. I believe so, because they've been around for about 3 years now, and so they've been like some of the rage.
Okay, it's definitely a fizzy.
Oh yeah, look at that. Well, you got to pour from the side, Jeff. I've been teaching you guys. No. We got another super chat from American Cogsworth. Bought a beer for John. Fruity Cowboy. It's great.
Oh, and
$2. Thank you, American Cogsworth.
There. Sorry, I forgot to I was meaning to get this to you. But
is it gonna make me angry?
Alex from the Discord, which you can get on by joining the Patreon for only $1. Jeff, half of these beers are for John for obvious reasons. Was trying to ship them to him, but UPS was giving me grief, so they're going to you. At least you have 3. One for talking heads, one for review, and one for fun. Enjoy. That is from Alex. So they are all the same. It's a 6-pack.
Okay.
Bunny with a chainsaw.
Oh yes, Bunny with the chainsaw. I have to go do a photo shoot for that one.
Yeah, they came in I think on Monday. So
awesome.
Yeah. I know I will be driving through on Saturday. And so I could probably I was planning on coming by your place anyway on Saturday. So that works perfectly.
I didn't want to say anything, didn't know if that was a thing, but yeah well, cool. Oh. That sounds great.
Might as well just make it official.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got a 3-pack.
Bunny with the chainsaw. That'll be a review.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one to get on a video with me too. So
we can just throw a quick one together.
Yeah.
Really fast.
Yeah, might as well shoot something while we're there.
Right, I know. It's like
then it's a work meeting.
Not like my video.
Tax deductible.
There you go. It's all expense paid.
Yep.
Oh, how is your beer?
Foamy. Still waiting for it to. It's one of those like you could sculpt the head with it.
Ah, yes. I was gonna say it looks like marshmallow head.
Yeah. Like it's still growing, still going, like, yeah.
Oh, it just foamed over.
Oh, just a hair, just barely.
How was that New Zealand IPA?
Super juicy.
Good.
Super juicy. I don't necessarily think of New Zealand when I drink it, but definitely on the sweeter tropical side of the juiciness, which is what I like.
It doesn't taste like Lord of the Rings.
It doesn't taste like Lord of the Rings. I'm not, I'm not suddenly, reciting Tolkien or anything like that. Certainly not going to go head to head with Colbert about Tolkien facts either. But it's less of the. It's juicy and it's very hop forward, but it's juicy and less of the pineapple and super high citrus sense, and more of like in the richer, sweeter fruits. Like blood orange, kind of that angle of thing where it's thicker and much more savory.
It's not the it's more tropical fruit, not necessarily citrus fruit.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
That's solid. I'm really digging that.
Nice. No, mine's really good too. I like mine. It's got the oat body, so it is like we always talk about that chewy mouthfeel.
Yeah.
So it is a good meal for me. This is actually my dinner, I guess.
Yeah. Snack.
Yes, it's a snack. Yeah. This is really when I needed those like buffalo wing beers and ranch. It's like, oh yes.
Yep. Okay.
If anyone knows of onion rings and burger beer, please let me know.
Yes. Oh, beer to pair with it, or?
Oh no, the flavor of. So I can at least drink it. Someone go homebrew and blend up a burger.
Man, now you got me thinking about burgers.
I've been thinking about so much food.
Scotty, shut up.
I'm just like watching so much food porn right now. It's horrible. I'm going insane doing it, but I think it's like my only way of getting any kind of relief of like, I can't wait to try that. I can't wait to make that. I can't wait to go buy that.
Scotty also chimes in the super chat. John, don't let Jeff pretend he's not hiding a beer or two from me either.
Oh,
that's right. I had. We'll just say one.
He forgot.
We'll just say one. We'll just say one from Scotty. Now I want burgers and onion rings. Yeah, now I want burgers and onion rings too.
Oh God, it sounds so good. The craving kills me.
Okay, let's get into the news. Starting with Okta. You may know them from they deal a lot with authentication handoffs and SSL cert issuance and things of that nature. They're not necessarily a web page that you would visit directly, but they are a website that you've probably interacted with at some time.
Not knowing it.
Right, exactly. So they apparently suffered an identity breach in January. And they confirmed that earlier this week. Now, Octa is not small. They handle authentication for 15,000 companies on the web. Like I said, they are a major SSL issuer, as well as handling logins for various sites, for banks, for point of sale sites, for email, for a whole bunch of other purposes. So at the moment, they believe that a maximum of 366 customers have been exposed, but that is 366 businesses with authentication data that's been lost. They also can't exactly confirm what what data was lost other than some businesses from a maximum of 366 customers, or about 2.5% of their business contacts.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
right.
5%.
Yeah, Okta push didn't go well. Denver says yes. So yeah, definitely something to keep an eye out for. If you use their services, I know obviously my viewership and my audience, there's a lot of server people in here. There's a lot of people who may or may not be their customers.
This is going to be the bit more tech savvy realm. You might have gone to them, and you might want to check if you're currently using them or not. Like you said, this just went out. I believe they released it Monday.
Yeah.
So and it really wasn't like too big of a splash of a news. So again, double check, see what you're using, or maybe your company is using it, or whatever. However, you might be affiliated with some form of program. It might make you sound really important then to your company.
Right.
Like, hey, we need to check this.
Yep. So yeah, it was actually Tuesday at 6 p.m. So literally like 24 hours ago, they issued a post. They have already contacted the affected companies, and they say there's no corrective action required by the affected companies, although they have not issued a full breach impact yet. We are actively continuing our investigation, including identifying and contacting those customers that have been impacted. There is no impact to Auth0 customers, and there is no impact to HIPAA or FedRAMP customers. So no one who relies on HIPAA, so that'd be medical industry, have been affected by this. But again, if you are a customer of Okta's, you might want to check into this, and
just in case.
Yeah. Even though it's a third party handling data, it's still your data. So take that under advisement.
We have a special super chat from Tech Geek.
Yeah, this one cut me deep.
I feel it.
Yeah, I feel this one. Like all of a sudden my spleen hurts. Tech Geek sends over $25. Thank you very much, Tech Geek. This super chat brought to you by the coworker that called me because the sound system wasn't working when I wasn't there. Drove 10 minutes each way to push 3 buttons because she refuses to learn the 3 steps to work the thing. Send your F's in chats for Tech Geek, and man, I'm sure there's not a person in this audience that hasn't felt that at some point, whether it was friends, family, colleagues, work clients, customers, etc. Like I said, I have a certain clientele, a certain viewership, and man, can a lot of them empathize with that.
I think it was either Friday or Monday. I had a call from someone, and it was all my office building's kind of large, and so it was all the way at the other end.
Yeah.
And she says, my computer won't turn on. All I get is a blue light. I'm like, what? Okay. Have you the dumb thing? Have you checked the power? It's plugged in. Yes, it's plugged in. I'm not stupid. Okay. So I walk over there, and she has a tower, and she then proceeds to give me this. Oh, if it wasn't a tower, if it was a laptop, I would know what to do. I'm like, okay, no, you probably wouldn't. So I look around, and okay, yeah, power's not working. I follow the power cord.
She was trying to drop the just get me a laptop and all my problems will be solved.
Pretty much. And I look at it, and it's plugged into a power strip. It's like, oh, I see what the problem is.
Is the power strip plugged in?
Is the power strip on? No, because it's right next to where you drop your
John,
purse.
I'm not an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. I got that. All
if your vacuum didn't turn on and it was plugged into a power strip, what would you check?
So it's just like, all right, there you go. See ya. Bye. Have a good day. And then you're walking away.
So it should be very telling. Like I read Tech Geek's super chat, and I did that like Vietnam dog flashback. You know that GIF.
Yeah.
When he said drove 10 minutes each way to push 3 buttons, and I went, wow, that's not bad. Only 10 minutes each way. That was my gut reaction.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I had the furthest I've ever gone was 2 hours.
2 hours each way.
Yes.
Okay, you got me beat. Because I've done 90 minutes. I've done 90 minutes.
Two hours each way. It was oh god, it was a little town about 45 minutes south of Eugene. And
it'd be Vida, it'd be Cresswell.
It was Cresswell.
Cresswell. Yep.
Cresswell.
There you go.
Cresswell. There it is. Yes, it was Cresswell. I had to go to Cresswell. It was a blueberry farm, and they were freaking out because their program just would not boot, and it was picking season, and they needed it done like then.
Right.
And I think it was like one line of code, or just you didn't run it as administrator, something along that line. It was so stupid.
It's nice that a blueberry picking business is so reliant.
They did give me like a whole box of blueberries.
Okay.
And
well, all is well.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That paid for my gas. Well, I mean, they got charged a wazoo for it. Actually, the cool part is it was a genetically enhancing a blueberry plant. So these blueberries were like the size of cherries.
Oh wow. So
it was pretty cool. I gave a bunch of them to Steve, and then he gave them to a friend who made blueberry beer out of them.
Yeah. Now I will say I love that I said give F's in chat. I got an entire page of F's in the chat, and then American Cosworth did an F and then a slash, and then the F stopped. Just like chef's kiss. Perfection. Maker Z sends over a $10 super chat. Thank you very much. Just finished a honey whiskey and butterscotch schnapps. Have you ever updated Proxmox 6.1 to 7.1? I have not done that particular upgrade, although pretty much all my upgrades in Proxmox have gone fairly unremarkably. I've done 4 to 5 and 5 to 6 before. Lately I've been going through Proxmox installs so quickly I don't get a chance to upgrade. And my production one is still on 6.4. But I've seen nothing really inherently wrong with 7.1. In fact, it does streamline and make some features a little easier to access, as well as virtual machines will now default to your native boot environment. So if you have a BIOS-based server, that is your Proxmox server is booting on a BIOS-based system, your VMs will boot in BIOS-based. Versus if you have an EFI box, then your VMs will default to being created with an EFI-based BIOS. You can still swap back and forth between them, or you can still decide which one that you want for your particular VM, but it's nice that they're now defaulting to the modern standard. I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see. But yeah, no gotchas thus far in using 7.1. I've been pretty happy with it. Denver sends over $5. Had one today. Luckily only had to go up 2 floors and walk about a block to find they didn't try the power button.
Oh yeah, get that all the time.
Yep.
Okay. The worst one I had recently was again power button, or it was another power strip issue, or no, it was plugged in because they kept swinging their legs. But their excuse was, yeah, I'm not going to bend down to look.
Yeah.
And that employee no longer works there.
Yep.
So it was like, yeah, I wasn't going to bend down to look and waste my time. That's where the computer's at. That's where your problem's at. So yeah, bend down.
All right. Not to be outdone, the same Lapsus group that reportedly hacked Okta's servers also hacked Microsoft and released 36 gigabytes worth of source code.
Decent source code too.
Yeah. Now, Microsoft has responded, and they said that Lapsus gained, quote, limited access to, quote, a single account, end quote. And they publicly disclosed the breach and said, yeah, the breach is authentic, but there's really not a lot in there.
see what they gave.
However, TechRadar, excuse me, reports that 37 gigabytes of Microsoft internal source code has been leaked, and that it's not necessarily nothing. There's about 250 Microsoft projects available inside, and it contains 90% of the source code for Bing and 45% of the source code for both Bing Maps and Cortana.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
That's kind of a big deal, right? Yeah, so I don't know what Microsoft means by, there was nothing of consequence in there. That's a lot of source code.
I'm just going to love that there's going to be a new browser coming out really soon that's going to be called like Bings with Z or something, and it's going to be like 98% the same. Yeah. Oh, where did they get that from?
Oh, you mean Chromium?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's true already.
Buzzing.
But, yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. It's going to be called Buzzing.
Buzzing. Yes.
The newest, latest Linux browser, Buzzing. It's just like Bing, but better.
I loved a couple years ago that Microsoft was trying so hard to make Bing a verb. Have you tried binging it?
Oh, gosh. I know. They're horrible at that now. They just force so much stuff down your throat. But yeah, this is, I mean, the fact that I get it. Microsoft is just playing it off like, hey, it's not a big deal or anything. Don't pay attention. Don't pay attention. But I mean, in all honesty, actually, Bing Maps and Cortana are actually pretty powerful things, especially Cortana. How many things have Cortana in them already? To then the code that's in there could have been a security part, could have been a way to work around Cortana now, to always leave it on. Who knows? That's actually the out of all three of the things that they mentioned, at least in this article, because like you said, there was a bunch of source code and projects that were in there. Could they find something in Cortana that, again, constantly listens, and there's enough people out there that leave those devices either on or whatnot? Personally, I'm not a fan of the Alexas, the Cortanas, all of that stuff. I see their place, but yeah, I don't have one.
I use Google Transcribe quite a bit, whether it's to just write out something that I'm thinking of, or, just really quickly, like I have a baby in my hand and I need to respond to a text message. I don't use any service or any AI other than call my wife or text this person, and even that's only when I'm in the car. Like it's,
I mean, I know people like them. I just, I don't, we have reported by ourselves, and then probably have also personally read different articles of just weird instances. I'm not still comfortable with them. I know they have their place for some people, and some people just like the convenience. Just yelling out, hey, Cortana, and I'm pretty sure it just triggered a bunch of people. Hey, Siri, just to make sure everyone's included, play this, play that. And that is a convenience, I agree. But I don't like something theoretically constantly having a microphone always on.
Yeah.
But again, this is what was scary to me, was that, or not scary, but just concerning in this was the theoretical, possible amount of source code that they had to Cortana, which is in every modern Microsoft device now. And they're theoretically could find something. So I'm intrigued to see if something comes out in the next 3 to 6 months that we hear Cortana has a breach, Bing has a breach, all because of maybe some of the source code that got leaked out. Even though theoretically it was only 32 gigs worth. That's still a lot of source code.
Yeah, Tech Geek says, unfortunately, they're a nonprofit, so I can't get away with that much rounding up. Because there was some conversation in Australia, the legal minimum you can employ someone in a shift is 3 hours. In Oregon, if you are an employee and you are not scheduled for the day, or you have left for the day and you get called back, you are owed 4 hours of time. That's a very little known fact in Oregon. So if you work at a fast food restaurant and they say, hey, so-and-so called in sick, can you come and cover? And then you show up and you work for 90 minutes and they go, okay, cool. You know, we just needed to get through lunch rush. You can go home now. They owe you 4 hours.
Yeah.
So, I said what I used to charge is if I had to go somewhere for an off hour service call, it was 3 hours minimum, and I charge door to door. So that is from my house the second I leave until the second I open my front door again.
Yeah, that's what I always did. It wasn't I'm done here. No, it's my travel back and everything that I have to do.
You took this time out of my day.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for you, I'd be drunk on my sofa right now.
Yeah, and if it was over 5 hours, I always charge an extra hour because like or 45 minutes, like I need a break. I'm gonna charge you that. I'm sorry. You know, of a meal, a snack, or whatever. I'm charging that if it was over 5 hours.
Oh.
Well, there was so there was that. Do you want to talk more about the Microsoft, or you want to go to the next one?
I think we can jump into the next one real quick.
It's a little bit of a sad story.
Yeah. And you have to say it right, John.
Yeah, GIF.
No.
Oh, yeah.
You have to honor his wishes.
Oh, I will not.
No,
I will not, because now it is culturally appropriate to say what I'm saying.
You have culturally appropriated his word?
Yes, I did.
It's amazing that you're admitting to that on camera. I just gotta say.
That's right.
John is appropriating something that he did not create, blasphemizing the name of its creator, who, by the way, may he rest in peace.
Yes,
so,
unfortunately.
Yeah, so we are talking about Stephen Wilhite, creator of the GIF.
Yeah, whatever.
Soft G.
I really hope. Okay, sorry, but I really hope his tombstone is like a quick argument.
it's GIF, not GIF.
Yeah, something like that. Like, please, someone do that. Like, I hope he had that sense of humor to do that on his or his family.
That would be fantastic. Stephen Wilhite created the meme generation. It's pronounced GIF, not GIF. And don't even, give that ambiguity. Just go, it's GIF, not GIF.
Yeah, exactly. Just put that on there. Please do that. That would be fantastic. Yeah. Well, I don't remember, because I know he had the interview and he talked about it, but I don't remember how serious he took it or if there was any humor in it. So at that part, I don't quite remember if he was like lucid about it, like, people were joking, who cares? Yeah. So don't really remember that part.
I'm old enough to remember when they weren't called memes. And and also I remember the dancing baby GIF.
I remember the dancing
that
baby
went
GIF.
Everywhere.
Ooga chaka.
Ooga chaka. Ooga chaka.
Ooga chaka.
Right.
Yeah.
So and this is one of Wilhite's favorite GIFs, is the dancing baby, which was the background of 80% of GeoCities pages back in the day.
And I remember that thing being on
everywhere.
Commercials, everywhere. The 2000 internet boom, how much was this on every commercial for every pets.com commercial, type thing. Right. Ask Jeeves always had a Ooga Chaka baby in the background. Yep. Doritos probably had it on a Super Bowl ad. It was everywhere. I remember it. And it took forever to download. What that would have been, what, was it 98?
98, 99 maybe.
99. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I remember like line by line seeing it come through. I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. That's funny. And then now it's just on our cell phones, and I'm constantly complaining that the search algorithm for my GIF is horrible. But
well, it's because you're using Tenor.
So
You know what else you can host besides a dancing baby? Pretty much anything, thanks to our sponsor, Linode.
There we go.
If you've ever needed to host your own servers, whether it be for home or business use, but don't have the resources to invest into hardware, power, cooling, or even space, why not let Linode host them for you? If it runs on Linux, it'll run on Linode. That includes the software for most of the tutorials on my channel, like how to run your own ad blocking, recursive DNS server, VPN gateway, your own cloud-based Plex server, and more. With shared CPU plans starting at as little as $5 per month and scaling up to as high as you need to go, you'll be able to find a hosting plan that fits your needs. Even if you do host your own servers, you can use Linode to keep a backup off-site. Because remember, RAID is not a backup. Linode also recently announced they are the first alternative cloud provider to have NVMe block storage available to all customers. In September, they began rolling out NVMe drives to all 11 of their global data centers. Best of all, storage rates will remain at the same low price they always have been. Visit linode.com/craftcomputing and get a $100 60-day credit when signing up for a new account. That's linode.com/craftcomputing, and thank you again to Linode for sponsoring the dancing babies that appear on this show.
There you go. It's 100 if you want to save that much money.
Right. $100 goes towards your hosting plan. Yep. You have 60 days to use it. Honestly, if you are considering self-hosting or getting into home lab stuff, or just want to tinker around with some of the latest toys, if you want to tinker around with some Quadro cards or whatever, this gets you access to it for essentially free.
Yeah.
And it's use as much of it as you want, and if you don't buy a service ever, you don't have to. It's really is a fantastic deal if you're wanting to dabble into some of the stuff that I show off on this channel.
We got 2 super chats in just now while you're talking. We got Tech Geek saying it's pronounced Mimi.
Mimi is a character on the Drew Carey show.
You know, speaking of the Drew Carey show, because that was the 90s,
that was late
still,
90s.
right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Very solidly.
Because they had
97, I think Drew Carey show came out.
Yeah, they had the whole thing was Drew Carey brewed beer, and it was coffee infused beer. Yeah. And that was like supposed to be radical. And then now I look back at it, because at the time I was like, who would care about beer? And now I'm like,
it debuted.
Oh man.
September 13th, 1995, episode 1 went live.
Wow. But now I look back at that like, oh my gosh, this beer, I know what he's talking about.
Right.
Oh, it's coffee infused. Oh, okay, I totally. But now it's not that impressive. But back then, I get it.
Right. I'm gonna make beer.
So,
coffee in it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool.
My favorite episode was the Y2K episode.
Oh yeah.
Favorite episode of all time, because Ryan Stiles goes to the bank and he withdraws his life savings, and they're all making fun of him and going like, well, how much is that? Like $45? And he goes, $63,500. And he's got this like laundry bag full of cash. And power went out, Y2K, the Y2K's got us kind of
thing.
Scare, yeah, right. So they played up the Y2K, and so they're sitting in Drew's basement playing poker. And Drew goes like, I'll raise it $2, and goes around the table, and I'm in for 2. And Ryan goes, I call, and I raise you $63,500. I'm out. It's my favorite joke on the whole show. Just Ryan bullying everyone at poker. Oh, what else do we have to?
Oh, we missed the super chat.
Oh, that's right. There was one more. Magic Rat. I still $5. Thank you very much, Magic Rat. I appreciate it. I still miss the BBS used to run it. Brought a sense of the Olu squirrel.
You know what he's talking about?
My memory is fading me if that's a reference.
Yeah, that's why I asked you to read it.
Yeah,
like
I still miss the BBS used to run it. It brought a sense of the Olu squirrel. I don't know.
Put it in the chat. You don't even need a super chat. Just let us
know what you mean, because
Yeah.
It's probably like right there, and I know it is as soon as you.
We're just like,
oh right.
Oh
right.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. In text form, I'm not getting it. Apologize. How's your beer number 89 going?
I am really enjoying it. It is for me, sweet and malty.
Magic Rep says I'm a little drunk. Sorry.
Hey, cheers to that. Every beer tastes sweeter than I remember it. So it is very sweet. But what I do like is there's the oatiness of the body and the tropical notes, just like you said you have, but it is a mixture of orange. I get a lot of orange and a pineapple and a mango. And so it's kind of like having that as like oceans or a Capri Sun or something like that. So it's nice, but still a bit sweet for my taste right now.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna want to be in that farmhouse ale or English bitters or something like that. If I know you.
That is something I didn't pick up. I didn't pick up any ESBs. I should go I picked up some reds.
Yeah.
Some saisons.
Some good malty reds, I think that was my third choice. Is some good malty reds. But you're missing some ESB in your diet, John.
Yeah, I need some ESBs. That sounds like I might have to go this weekend and go get some ESBs. I got hefts. Oh my gosh, hefts are so sweet right now. They are like honey. It is the weirdest thing to taste all of these beers.
Yeah.
And it's great because every flavor of everything is coming out onto my senses, but it's maximized by 200 plus X type thing.
You're going to go back to eating food and hate it.
I honestly might. I'm kind of scared about that.
Ribs.
You know what I'm really scared about? I'm like, pickles. These are fantastic.
I never knew.
I never knew this. This is fantastic. The umami flavor that I'm getting from this. It's like, I
come over one day, you're just like eating a mushroom raw.
I know. Hey, Jeff, what's up? You want a pickle?
They're really good.
It's really good. I'm telling you, it's good. I know Steve would like it because he'd be like, finally, you can have some food with him.
I can finally eat with them and not be embarrassed.
Oh, I know. I'm constantly telling my wife, like, I'm going to make ribs. I'm going to make smash burgers. I'm going to make this big old pot belly roast and all these fried chickens. And I might hate it. I really might hate it.
So
you're done.
Coriolis Effect, New Zealand IPA from New Image Brewing. Very pleasant. Very, very pleasant.
You beat me.
I did. Weird. I mean, am I eating for two right now? I don't know.
I mean, I can catch up. It's fine.
Very pleasant. Like I said, it's very juicy, but in a much sweeter, thicker, sense. Savory is the word I keep coming back to. It's a good blood orange or mango or something like that.
More of the tropical fruit.
It's more tropical, less citrusy. It's a little bit hazy. It's got the flavor of a hazy, but none of the burn. And so you get all of that big, bold, thick flavor that I love out of a hazy IPA, but I can still taste it after 4 hours, which is amazing. It's delicious.
What was the percent? I didn't hear you say the percent.
6.5, 6.9.
Oh, okay.
6.5.
Mine's 8.5.
Okay.
So technically it would be imperial, but just barely. Basically a typical Oregon IPA.
Yeah. All right. What is beer number 90, John? or should I go first?
Hang on.
Okay. Sorry, he's got to get every last
number
crumb.
90. Beer number 90. So, I have been needing to divert, so I went with a stout. And Jeff, I actually, you might have gotten this, but I think I'm the first to purchase it among us in Oregon. Dragon's Milk Reserve whiskey barrel aged.
John. I can beat you.
Oh, I hate you if you said that.
John.
Rye barrel aged too.
Well, John, I have a Dragon's Milk Reserve triple mash.
Oh.
17%.
I mean,
it's not what I'm having today. So.
Oh well, yeah. I have 2 of these.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this has toasted chilies.
I have 4 of those. I don't have that particular one, but I have 4 or 6.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you come by this weekend, I'll give you the other one of this.
Oh, there you go. Tell you what, I will 1-for-1 you on a Dragon's Milk, because I've got probably one that you don't have. So
there we go. I bought 2 of these, and I do not mind sharing a beer with you, Jeff.
That's what I like about you, John.
But you have to have a pickle beer.
Oof. Do I just have to take it home? Because it can sit in my fridge forever.
I think I gave one to you.
You
already.
did. It's still there.
Oh, that smells delicious. Cinnamon, rye.
A little chai, maybe.
A little chai. Yes, definitely. All right, wait, hang on. Before I have it, what do you have?
I have a 3 Magnets. 3 Magnets Brewing.
I know 3 Magnets.
You know 3 Magnets.
Washington. Yeah.
This one is very interesting. It is the Florida Man. It is a bourbon barrel-aged dark mild brewed with coconut.
Oh. A dark mild.
Dark mild is what it says.
Okay, dark mild should be like an ESB, which would be but if it's bourbon barrel aged.
Bourbon barrel aged, dark mild, brewed with coconut.
I mean, the flavors sound fantastic.
Right. You will never guess what I paid for this.
Honestly, for a mild, $6. What?
$1.50.
Whoa.
They had 2 of them left. I left with 2. In fact, it's there. Let's see if it'll send on it. $1.50. Right there.
Oh my gosh, you still got the tag.
Right there. Yeah. I left the tag on it. Usually I will take the tags off. Oh god, we don't need more than
don't need more of that.
There we
go. Whoa. Whoa, that chili comes in.
You okay there, John?
Oh my gosh, with my taste buds. I mean, I'm sure normally this would be fine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's green chili.
All right, before I get to my taste test, we do have like 3 super chats to get to. Futmeyer sends over $10. Thank you very much, sir. Or madam, sir. I'm assuming here. Sorry. Loved your series on the game server build. Finally got my GTX 1080 Ti working on my R720 series because of you. So thanks. Thank you. That is awesome. I love hearing success stories from the tutorials. Because often as a YouTuber, the only thing that makes it through in the complaint or in the comments is all of the complaints of why didn't you use Vim? Well, because I was editing one line of text, not, writing the next Shakespearean sonnet using Python. Like
I saw that.
There's a tool for each. Like all I needed to do is get in, edit one line, get out. Like I'm okay using Nano. I'm not a programmer. I don't aspire to be a programmer. I don't think like a programmer. I use Nano and use the tool that's right for the job, like Linux or Mac or Windows. They're just tools. But I digress. No, I love hearing success stories. I love hearing, I took your tutorials and did something with it, or I finally got this thing working that I've been wanting to work for years, or I got a job because you got me interested in servers. That's happened numerous times, and honestly, nothing makes me happier than people are watching, using, learning from my content. So cool.
Oh, it is super fun to like, that's like even if you get like 10 hate comments and then you get one, you're like, totally worth it.
Totally. Yeah. Which, by the way, I get a lot of positive comments. Like, my comment section is usually pretty darn good. I also moderate it quite thoroughly. I read almost every single comment. I still do. Almost 5 years later, I still read almost every comment. And I reply to those that I can. And yeah, you got to take the good with the bad. And the good makes it worth going through the bad.
Oh, yeah. So. No, actually, I always love getting, my favorite part is like getting comments on, especially like year-old videos or something along that line. It's like, oh, I am so, thank you. It's like, I love that this content, that half the time I put out, it's like, okay, this is only going to last like 3 months at the most, is still technically going
right
somewhere. Someone used it for something. It's like, oh, that actually makes me feel really good, you know.
Yeah.
I put a lot of effort into it, and I'm still glad that a year later, whether it's one person or not, it hits someone semi profoundly.
Yeah. Interesting super chat. Let me copy and paste something here real quick. And that is from Merkson. Sends over $5. Thank you very much. Building a home lab. What should be the first install? FYI, I tried pfSense, but I can't get it to give me a WAN address from the Xfinity modem in bridge mode. That's because the Xfinity modem is hot garbage. And Comcast/Xfinity loves to say, well, you have to use our modem. Legally, you don't. You can go out and buy a modem. And in fact, I just linked an Amazon link down below. It is an affiliate link. So FYI, I will get a kickback if you buy something from it. For an RS SB8200. It is an approved modem for pretty much every major cable provider in the country.
Same one I have.
Right. Same one I use. It is certified for multi-gig service. So you can actually get up to 2.3 gigabit service through it. And 750 meg upload. So now they won't give you that. They don't have a plan that'll offer that, but it's the modem itself is capable of that. Send Xfinity's crap back to them in a cardboard box.
Don't pay the monthly fee for it.
Don't pay the rental fee. Get rid of that right now. It's $12 a month. You'll pay the modem off in a year. And get yourself something like, either build yourself a pfSense box if you're confident enough in doing that, or get yourself something like a Unify USG, the Universal Gateway. Fantastic little device. It'll cost you about another $100, but you get full control over your internet. It doesn't redirect you to all Comcast services. They don't deliver ads to you. They don't. There's things that Comcast does with the internet that are a little funky, and trust me, I know I have Comcast.
Yeah, so do I. They'll try to sell you on like, oh, it's the premium service, buy ours because we'll take care of everything. Honestly, half of these services are taken care of by all these other modems. These other modems have the exact same services. It's fine. You then control it yourself.
Hot take.
Much better.
There's nothing that Comcast does that you benefit from buying their modem or renting their modem.
Yeah, it's just a sales tactic. Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You don't need them.
Yeah.
I mean, other than for the actual internet.
Tell you what, if you were an internet service provider and you had the opportunity to spend $90 or $90. This is the Comcast modem. Sorry, $40 and bulk purchase thousands upon thousands of all-in-one modem and router combos, which would also provide service to other Comcast customers by opening up your customer's Wi-Fi to other customers, which is also what it does. And for your $40 investment per customer, you would get back $12 per month. What would you do? You would push those until hell froze over.
Exactly.
Guess how Comcast makes a lot of their extra money besides the $40 billion that Congress gave them 25 years ago to run fiber, and they never
Which
did.
they still have not done.
Right. Run your own modem, run your own router, because screw them. Screw Cox. Screw Xfinity. Screw Fios. Screw all of them.
Take
Frontier,
control.
CenturyLink.
Yeah. Honestly, it sounds scary. And again, to the audience here, most of us are like, yeah, we know all this. But to the 1% that might not know, it's not scary.
Yep.
Honestly, just take that leap. Go ahead. There's instructions. It's so simple. It really is. It's like 3 steps and you get to control your whole destiny. And you say that $12, $24, depending upon whatever your service provider, because this is not just Comcast. This is most internet providers in general.
Right. Depending on where you're at, they charge upwards of $12 per month. That's $145 per year.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. Can I interrupt my own show?
I am curious about yours. So it looks like a stout, but it says it's a mild, but it's barrel aged. So yes, I understand that. I am curious about 2 things: body and taste.
I can taste coconut. Okay.
Well, that's good.
That's
okay.
So here's the deal with this beer. According to Untapped, it's a 4.9%. And I'm starting to believe that.
As a mild, I can understand.
Right. What I can say is I expected a bourbon barrel-aged dark beer brewed with coconut to warm to the occasion. I wanted this beer second because I wanted those flavors to kind of express themselves, to warm up a little like a stout would.
Yeah, exactly. No. Ouch.
I don't know that I could drink this. It is definitely not too sweet for you. And oh man, is this thing bitter and sour?
Well,
and it's not bad beer sour. It hasn't turned.
I do know coconut can give a sour note if done incorrectly. So I wonder if that might be your sour flavor.
You know, it might, because coconut's the first thing I taste after that fades. It's a very bitter, drying note to it.
Yeah. Interesting.
And I cannot say I'm enjoying
it. Well, you said you had 2 cans. Maybe you give me the other one.
I can give you the other one. Yeah. I've actually got a couple of beers for you. A couple of good beers. A couple of really good beers for you.
Keeping me alive.
At least like 3 or 4. And then I've got a couple that I just want to see you react.
Oh, I'll do videos just on those.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I mean, someone was chatting in the chat earlier that this isn't hot. I taste the heat very much. It is like hotter than Chipotle hot from right now, currently. Now, normally I'd probably be like, this is great. I just a hint of heat.
Yeah.
But this is chili con carne hot.
This is that chili mead that you have.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes, it is. I'm feeling it right here, and it's like, whoo! I'm getting a lot of but every other flavor, the cocoa nibs, the rye, the vanilla. The cinnamon is fantastic, but then there's chili just like right in my chest. But we got a couple of, I know we talked a lot about beer, and I'm sure a lot of the audience is like, you guys just go on rants all the time. So I think we should probably get back to some.
We do have a couple more super chats. So let's do
that.
Through
let's
these.
do that.
Cesare sends over 25 ELN. That's a
what is that? Pacific.
That is
Island.
Poland.
Poland. Polish. Okay.
Yeah. Hello.
Ooh, I love their sausages.
5 a.m. is late enough. Night lads. P.S. Jeff, did you manage to get those Tesla temps under control? That is actually a project for next week or the week after. I have a plan. It's an interesting plan. It will work. And it's going to be a good video. Tech Geek sends over another $5. My hot take of the night: tabs are better than spaces. I agree.
Okay.
I would rather have a tab delineated form than a comma or space delineated. I would rather have a tab delineated form than a CSV.
I guess I'm so used to CSV, so this.
Yeah. I would rather have tab delineated than comma or space delineated.
I'm totally fine with CSV, so I'm not gonna fight you on it, but I understand it.
Right. Tiger sends over $10. Thank you very much. Friends Don't Like Friends by AMD, Team Blue, Team Green. Why?
Oh, I like AMD.
I like all three.
What's wrong?
Here's the deal.
You need to buy.
Here's the deal. None of those three companies give a flying about you.
About you.
This isn't a team sport.
No, yeah.
Buy
what's best for you.
Right. You're this far away from going, why didn't you install Arch?
Yeah,
operating systems are not a team sport. Buying hardware is not a team sport. I don't care. I use the tools that are available to me, and I use the best that's available. The best performance or / performance per dollar.
Yeah.
That I can. Whoever makes
right
it.
Now,
I don't care. I don't care about Intel or AMD or NVIDIA. I don't care about.
Honestly, when I saw that, I was like, I don't know how you can make a statement for like knowing the past 5 years what's been going on with AMD and just been killing it.
Here's the deal: 2 of my servers are AMD Epic servers. I have a Rome and a I have a Naples and a Rome. But I've also got a bunch of Intel servers. I've got some Haswell servers. I've got Sandy Bridge. I've got Ivy Bridge. I've got.
I mean, like I can understand like early 2000s AMD, sure, because they only had like 2 good chips, but now they have some of the best and the best priced too. So, anyways,
Andrew chimes in with $5, stopping by. Hope you all are well. Family game night, excellent. I love family game night.
We have, other than the nights I'm here, we always do family game night. Well, our game of choice is Super Smash Brothers.
We have been doing Exploding Kittens as a family.
Oh, nice.
So we play card and or board games every lunch and every dinner at my house. And because it's the one time we all sit together and we can get the kids quiet enough and everyone's kind of focused. And so we play games, whether it's cribbage or whether it's Yahtzee or whatever. We play games every meal. And we have been on an Exploding Kittens kick for probably the last couple of months, and even a little bit, even the 4-year-old, she is totally on board, totally plays, and knows every card and the rules and everything. And strategy-wise, she's actually doing quite well too.
Oh, I know. I love how my 5-year-old will be like, you have to be this character because he has this power level to do this. I was like, I didn't even know that. For Super Smash Brothers, an old game, it's like, okay. And then I purposely was like, okay, if we're doing this, I went and bought every character, and so he's now like researching all the characters, and then we went and bought all the new. I think we talked about this Mario Kart when the Nintendo talked about all the new downloadable content. Mario Kart released is going to be releasing 86 levels, and we pre-bought them all. And he's a huge Mario Kart fan, and he's trying to unlock them all. And I was trying to explain to him, no, they don't get unlocked that way. But it's family game night. It's always a fun time.
Yep. Michael Stevens says we have the Imploding Kitten card. The Imploding Kitten is great. It's a great little bit of strategy. So we have all the expansion packs, and in fact, we have the original Exploding Kittens pack and then the party pack. and that is in one case. And then we also have Recipe for Disaster with all of the expansion packs. So a second full pack with everything, plus all of the recipe cards, which change what cards go into the deck and slightly change the rules. So how many cards you start with? Do you start with a diffuse or not start with a diffuse? Is there an imploding kitten? Is there exploding kittens? Do you have a streaking kitten? Do you have all these other things? And so we just play random decks at this point. So we'll draw a recipe and we'll deal that out, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, if you have a family, I highly recommend more of a game night than a watch TV night.
Yeah, totally.
Type of thing.
Although I've also been going through Mandalorian with.
Yeah, I understand. Like when I grew up, it was TNG.
It was TNG and DS9, right?
When I was growing up, so I super appreciate that. So if you're gonna do that, but there's always a bonding thing. So try to make it whatever you're doing, bond with your family.
Yeah. All right.
All right, let's get back to some tech stuff.
Yes. Starting with, Google lands the first subsea cable in Africa to spur digital access to the continent.
You did miss an article.
Did I?
Yes. The malware. Yeah, I'm only pointing that out. I just didn't know if you wanted to talk about it or not. Because I just had an article pulled up, so
I didn't right click on it, but we are actually running short of time, believe it or not, because we need to get to card news.
We do, and so that's fine. We can speed through a bunch.
So this is linked down in the video description if you want to learn more. There has been malware hidden in plain sight in open source software that has been employed to destroy Russian hard drives. And this is an article over on ZDNet. Basically, they used open source software in hard drive controllers to corrupt the data on the drives, irrecoverably.
Norton. So it's Norton.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
I get it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's an interesting story. It also brings to light some questions about open source software. And open source is it's a double-edged sword. As much as we all love open source software, as much as I love the Linux stack, as much as I love Pop! OS and Ubuntu and even Arch, I have a soft spot for Arch and a couple of variants like that. Yeah. If it's entirely community driven and there's no actual development team that works on it full time, that has the best interests of everyone, including an end goal in mind, along with all the dependencies, along with all of the packages that you rely on, bound to be some holes. There's bound to be some things that are suboptimal.
There theoretically could be malicious content, or something.
It could be malicious content. It could either just be crappy code, because that's the best that we can do. And do you know why gaming on Linux has gotten so good in the last 3 years? It's because Valve took a direct interest in it and invested into it. Into the Wine project, into Proton, into Steam Play, into DXVK. Valve infused programming talent and development dollars into that.
It's a good infrastructure. That's the thing, and that's what drawed a lot of independent people to it. Mm-hmm. But like you were saying, is that when it is open source and there's actually, again, no, like you're saying, Steam, or Valve, no big backers behind it, it is just open source. So it's still technically the wild, wild west. And you're just hoping everyone is being the best that they could be.
Right.
And but when you have a big major company backing it, they're like, no, we're gonna pay someone to make sure it's the best. And that is nice. But because it's still out there, there's still theoretically could be some holes.
Right.
Not to saying that, Windows or Microsoft doesn't have its own problems and Apple doesn't have its own problems.
Absolutely do, but they're also a lot more stable and have the development interests of other companies invested into them, like Adobe, who happens to write software, or
Exactly. Adobe's the number one for Linux versus
for content creation,
everything else.
Well, there's OpenShot, or there's those are not professional tools.
No, I mean they're like it's just like it. No, it's quite not.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a an interesting tangent off Russian hard drive corruption, but
I don't know. Basically, I think we hit the article, so we're good.
I think we're good. 2 more super chats rolled in. God, you guys are killing me today.
I know, right? I can't get to anything.
Tiger sends over $10. Thank you all very much. I have all 3. Only real complaint about AMD is Ryzen runs a bit hot, even with water cooling, and driver support is a bit hit and miss. Just stirring the pot a little. No company cares about you. Yeah, no company does care about you.
Well, I'm curious, does he have which gen of Ryzen?
Yeah,
because I can understand Gen 1 running hot. 2 and 3 I do not recall running hot at
3
all.
In fact. Holy crap.
Yeah. So I would have to ask what gen you're running.
I have a 5950X as my main rig right now, so it's a Ryzen 9 16 core Zen 3 architecture. It's great. Love this chip, but you know, it will run into the 70s on an AIO, and I think that's just fine. Although I am going to go with a full cover water block on it for too long. I already have it purchased. Bought it like 8 months ago. Just haven't gotten around to finishing that project because it's a really cool project. I want to do it right. Yeah. Let's see. Merkson sends over another $5. Thank you very much. I bought that exact modem and was up a full day trying to give my devices a new IP. All it kept saying was unified networks, so invalid IP, so I returned it. Well, the modem itself will not give devices an IP address. The modem will negotiate your connection with your ISP.
Yeah.
Then it's up to you to do an internal network and DHCP your own addresses to your devices. You only get one IP address for a cable modem.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
you need a router for local area network.
I was gonna ask, did he buy that exact one, or did he buy the one that's supposed to be the router and Wi-Fi built in? Because I know they have that version, which is a little more expensive.
Yeah.
I think it's like $50-$60 more. Maybe I can understand that aspect, or maybe he thought that's what it was.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that basically only gives you one IP address because it's the transaction between the server provider and yourself, and then you need to hook up a external router, wireless router usually, and then build off of that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we were talking about Google landing some cable.
Yes, Google laid some tube over to Africa to spur digital access on the continent. They've put $1 billion into infrastructure in Africa already and are planning even more. This is a pretty huge investment by Google, and the reason it's so huge is if you look at population density, Africa is one of the least densely populated continents on Earth. I mean, there's Antarctica, but but also no one lives in Antarctica. Yeah, Google getting invested and wanting to, digitally connect pretty much the entire continent. As much as we say bad things about Google, and yeah, they'll probably end up making money off of this whole project. Like, that's obviously their end goal. At least someone's trying.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's awesome to always connect the globe, and because you never want to. The resources literally are everywhere, and to connect enough resources all around the globe, you're just increasing your chances for awesome expanses in everything. It's not just technology; it's literally everything.
Yeah.
And being able to communicate fast, efficiently. That way, again, we do not Google on a lot of stuff. This aspect is very nice. Yes, they're probably going to make a profit, but still the fact that we're going to be able to, those countries and those people are hopefully going to get even better internet connections. That's great.
Yeah.
So
let's go and skip the next one. I'm not too interested in that.
I was gonna say some crappy things Google are doing, but whatever. And some crappy things Elon Musk is doing.
Starlink doesn't care about you. Tesla doesn't care about you. Google doesn't care about you.
It's me too. I just purchased this and nope.
Yeah. Well, I've got my deposit in, so still waiting
my
on that.
deposit's in too.
Yeah. And that is that SpaceX, the parent company for Starlink, also a subsidiary of Tesla Inc. or Elon Musk brainchild or whatever else, hikes internet costs due to, quote, rising inflation. And I got this email the other day. New customers for Starlink will now pay $700 up front due to inflation. Well, it seems like everyone's blaming inflation for things, but people are also seeing record profits. Weirdest thing. Anyway, originally, if you wanted to order Starlink, it would cost you $499, and to get that, you would need to pay a $100 deposit up front. If you already paid the $100 deposit, your cost is now $549, or an increase of $50. If you have not paid the deposit and you are a new customer, your monthly subscription will go from $99 to $110 and cost you $599 with a $100 deposit for a new order, or $700. Because you need to pay first month service along with the installation fees. So the sole purpose of these adjustments is to keep pace with rising inflation. Weird, I didn't know inflation rose a full freaking 20%. It's news to me. Ugh. Not gonna get political. Not gonna get political. Not gonna get political. Not gonna get political.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is we don't need to get it out, but still, kind of a dick move to especially people that have already been contracted in. So that I think is the real story.
Yeah,
is that if you've already been contracted and you've already been signed up, you've already paid your deposit, dick move. That's I personally think I don't care about you haven't, and here's the new prices. Okay, that's your business. That can be your own personal dick move, whatever. That's your company. That's your prerogative. That's fine. But the fact that you and I have already paid for a deposit on Starlink.
Giving them a 2-year interest-free loan, as it were.
Exactly. Yes. And it was like, fuck you. Nope. Pay. Sorry. I said that. It's not 10 o'clock. But that is what it is. And that's a super dick move.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a monthly service increase of 10%, as well as an installation increase of around 20%. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And I'm sorry. It could have been henceforth anyone else.
Right. Which is the right move to make, as Rivian found out about 2 weeks ago. Yeah. You know, hey, what if we just make our existing customers give us $20,000 more? That's a great move for, yeah, everyone hates you now.
Exactly.
Versus like, hey, if you bought in, you're going to lock in this price, but due to rising costs, we're going to have to charge more for our end vehicle, but we're going to honor the original prices. Like that's the move that you should make to maintain customer loyalty and enthusiasm and everything else, and avoid canceled orders yeah.
I need more of my rocket ships to go up in space.
Yeah. Frustrating.
So yeah, that part's frustrating. So stinky stink. So, but yeah, that's basically.
Life Swing Away 92 sends over $5. Thank you very much. Just ordered an M40. Can't wait to play with something new. I love my M40s. They are so much fun. I know they're old tech. I know they're basically 980 Ti's or Titan Maxwell's, but they're just so much fun to tinker with because it's so absurd to be able to run 2 to 4 games. Like, you can run easily 6 instances of Minecraft off that with 4 gigabytes of video memory each and get a very playable experience, as long as you have the CPU horsepower to back it up, off a single GPU. Like, it's absurd and it's fun. And no one is really, I mean, there's been some industries that have taken advantage of it for a long time, but it's been a very niche segment of the market. And it's always been a segment that I've been very interested in, virtualization and decentralization of compute. And yeah, they're just fun cards to play around with. He also says, I work for an ISP that uses MD5, RIP statistics, so no CX owned unless you know the key. Yeah, well, that's because you're encrypting your records, so. All right. Yeah, NetGuy also just got his Starlink in the mail, and
he did. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, it's going to be 10% more than expected now. Inflation, right? No, because it was $99, and now it's $110. Last I checked, milk is the same price.
Oh, it's not, but
everything also went up, but.
Yes, but yes, I still agree with you. What you're saying, you're at the point what you're saying.
This one was kind of cool. Brain implant allows fully paralyzed patients to communicate. I thought this one was really interesting. University of, oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher this. Tübingen. Sorry if you live there. Has developed a brain implant and used it on a 34-year-old paralyzed man who basically has no motor functions, and he's been able to use specific letters using only his brain, and has a synthetic voice to pronounce letters in German, E, A, and D. And by the way, this is not like he's thinking A and it just goes A. This is using the speech center of his brain and synthesizing his speech. So he is consciously saying the letter A, and the computer is mimicking what his brain is telling it. It's something completely different.
That's the really cool part.
Yeah.
I mean, that is because they've had a couple chips of similar with muscle, like arms and fingers.
Right.
But speech has always been a fickle thing. And this is a huge step toward some very interesting things. And honestly, within the next theoretical 10 years, and I don't remember. Did they say this was, I thought this was ARM based. Was this ARM based?
No, it's brain for some reason.
Well, yeah, got but
taste. But funny.
But no, this software and the design of this is pretty awesome, honestly, because of all of just the medical applications it could bring. And I'm actually pretty excited for this in the next couple of years. Specifically, probably about 10 years, well, we might see a big development, but it's a really cool step in programming and mapping brain waves and just I really like that type of stuff, like the muscle things for paraplegics and everything, the robot arms, or helping people out that don't have that still feel the ghost arms.
Yeah.
Things like that. I really find that stuff very fascinating, and programming that, and just in my personal self of a programming sense of just how they map that, how they do that, how everything is like, that is fascinating to me.
Yeah. The fact that they were able to map the speech center and they're getting the computer to synthesize what he is saying internally. Your internal monologue is now being synthesized by computer voice. That's freaking cool.
That's really cool. I mean, they're getting really obviously close to that. So that's like, this is cool.
Yes. So, we talk about right to repair all the time on this show. Whenever there's a hot button topic that comes up, you can guarantee I will yell at it. this reminds me a lot of the, don't worry, Apple is going to start selling batteries and screws and replacement screens that only authorized personnel can still install, but we'll sell you one anyway. That is, John Deere expands access to self-service resources. I assume because the writing's on the wall and that right to repair will eventually become legislation, and this is a last-ditch effort to try and stop right to repair legislation going, look, we let people work on their own things. Don't believe it. Tell John Deere to screw it and shove this 4G connection where the sun don't shine. This article says John Deere announced today it will enhance the capabilities of existing diagnostic tools, not repair tools, just diagnostic tools. Very strong reason that they use that particular
I believe
word.
they even say some.
Right. Some of the existing capabilities of their diagnostic tools and expand availability. In 2023, so next year, subject to change, the company will roll out an enhanced customer solution that includes a mobile device interface and the ability to download secure software updates directly to the embedded controllers on select John Deere equipment with 4G connections. We're rolling out software updates over the air, so please don't pass right to repair. That's what this article is. That's all this article is you can now get software updates over cellular. Oh, and if you also have the service contract that you're required to have because you can't work on your own John Deere tractor, we can now kind of read the fault codes from remote.
Yeah. So if you've ever heard us talk about right to repair issues, John Deere is one of the worst and biggest references we always talk about. Yes, it's not technically computer tech related, but because of the mechanics that they do, they are one of the worst people out there.
Yeah. Think of farmers, agriculturalists, etc. Their entire lifeblood typically hinges on about 7 days a year. And what I mean by that is we experience this a lot in the Northwest with hops, where it's time to harvest hops. It's time to harvest hops now, exactly. By which you have 7 days to get all your equipment up and running and get your entire harvest for the year. So all the work that you've put into the entire year for watering, maintenance, everything, comes down to the 7 days that you run your tractors and your harvest equipment and pickers and everything else, and you load up your bags of hops and you get them into storage or you get them into bags and you get them where they need to go.
Yep.
If you miss those 7 days, you miss out on literally your annual income. And I'm just talking for hops. Like, let's go onions, let's go pumpkins, let's go any agriculture.
Yeah, exactly.
You plant it in the ground in one particular week. It then grows for X amount of time, and then you harvest it on one particular week. And there's very few exceptions to that, because of the way plants grow and because of the way they've tuned everything to kind of work in that flow. Yes, there are some life cycle crops and there's, different growing situations. But in general, if you are a farmer with open land farm, that's how it works. Now just imagine you spent $400,000 on a John Deere agriculture piece of equipment. And day 2 of your harvest, it breaks down. And John Deere goes, please stay on the line. Your time is important to us. We'll get you connected to a customer service representative as soon as we possibly can. Meanwhile, it's 10 p.m., you're standing in the rain, and your entire annual income is dying because you can't do anything because your John Deere tractor threw up an error code. By the way,
because it will and stop.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to work on it. No one else is allowed to work on it except a John Deere tech, and they have to physically come out to the site and work on it because the GPS antenna broke or whatever else happened to it. If you're a farmer, right to repair should be the dead essential.
It's your equipment.
Yeah.
It's yours.
Right.
Do with it as you want.
Right.
Yeah. We've always said that. Your computer, your equipment, your phone, your equipment. Everything is yours. You bought it. your car, just like, well, we always talk, if it's your car, you have the right to mod it, you have the right to fix it yourself, or take it to a third-party mechanic, whatever. It is your choice.
Yep. So what is this move by John Deere? Why are they doing this? Why are they saying, well, we're going to bring over-the-air software updates over cellular so you can better update your equipment that, by the way, you still can't work on. But we might be able to diagnose it remotely, which, by the way, they still need to be on site to fix it. Because they don't allow anyone else to fix it. They have a terrible repair network and everything else that goes in. So why are they doing this? Well, this is the same move that Apple pulled off about 4 months ago, and I said, don't believe it, don't buy into it. Stay strong with we deserve right to repair as consumers. We deserve open parts stores. We deserve open access to manuals and repair guides and everything else, because that's what the automotive industry has. And there's a reason I can take my Chevy or my Mazda or my Nissan or my Toyota to any one of thousands of shops just in my state, independent repair shops, and they can diagnose it and repair things there. It's because they have access to genuine parts. They have access to non-OEM parts, if I'd prefer to go that way. They can change the oil. They can swap out the wiper blades. They can change tires. They can change brakes. They can do everything else. It's because of right to repair initiatives that are focused on the automotive industry that I have that choice, and that keeps prices down and keeps you from having to go to, let's say, the Tesla dealership to service your Tesla. Which, if you're familiar with the Apple repair network and first-party Apple repair, John, how many Apple stores are there in the state of Oregon?
Oh my gosh, they are closing left and right. I believe there's actually only 2 now.
Yes, you are correct. There are only 2. There's one at Washington Square, and there is one at Clackamas closed, didn't they?
Yes, I think there's still one in Eugene though.
No, there's a Mac store, which is
there's a Mac. That's what I was thinking.
Which is not an Apple-owned store, but it is one of the few third-party affiliates that are out there. There's also the one in Washington Square. So
yeah, if you're Southern Oregon, you're screwed.
Right. If you don't live in either, well, Lake Oswego or Portland, you have no option. There's nothing. There is nothing south of Tualatin as far as Apple stores. And if you're thinking about the state of Oregon, which is, by the way, 300 miles north to south and 400 miles east to west, you have 2 repair options, and they're both within 20 miles of each other in the Portland metro area. Yeah, that sounds great. If I break the screen on my iPhone, oh, tell you what, I'll just send my iPhone off for 10 days and have it repaired. Because that's convenient in the day of constant connectivity and everything is tied to my phone and 2-factor authentication. And oh, by the way, I also have Apple Pay, and now I don't know my credit cards because I don't have physical credit cards because they're all tied to my phone.
I know they want you so entitled to or entwined in all of their networks, and they're like, but please send us your phone and you'll get it back in 10 days. Right. Sorry for the inconvenience. Mm-hmm. That's bull.
There's the issues with Tesla with their electric repairs, where the one that I always like to go back to is if you look at Electrified Garage and Rich Rebuilds, they repaired a Tesla that Tesla wanted $18,500 to fix for $690. Now, how did they do that? Well, the battery module was damaged. So Tesla said, we have to repair the battery module, which means pull the batteries and replace the batteries. When in fact, it was the bung on the radiator coupling that supplied cooled water to the batteries. Not the batteries themselves, not the cooling system itself, not the radiator system, not anything else, but the bung that was damaged when he went over a speed bump or something like that. So they welded on a new bung and refilled the system and tested all the cells and then sent him on his way for $690. That's why first-party repair is bad. Yep. Is because otherwise this guy would have been out $18,500 for literally a $5 part and $600 in labor. Like, and you wonder why I preach right to repair.
Exactly. No, it's something that needs to be done, something that should be done. I don't know why it hasn't already been done.
So again, why is John Deere doing this? They're trying to show Congress and the voting people Well, we have repair systems in place that are customer accessible. You can buy this module from John Deere and plug it into your thing, kind of like you do with your cars. You know, you take your car to a mechanic and they plug in a reader and it tells you the error code. Well, John Deere can then read those error codes and then send a technician out to fix it. And if you're not in the know, if you don't know what the farm equipment is or what the timelines are or anything like that, you go, well, John Deere's doing everything they can to help keep their equipment up and running. Even though it's not John Deere's equipment, it's just John Deere's name on the equipment because someone bought the equipment and are using it on their business. John Deere has no rights to the equipment after they sell it. Point of fact. Apple has no rights to the laptops after they sell you a laptop or a phone. Tesla has no right to the Tesla car, Model Y, Model 3, Model whatever. After they sell it to you. That's your property now. And you can repair that property in any way you see fit. And Tesla should be required, Apple should be required, John Deere should be required to allow third parties the right to repair those, the right to manufacture their own parts, because Apple's not the be-all, end-all, say-all of who makes the best parts for an Apple machine. They're simply the original equipment manufacturer, which is what OEM means. And non-OEM parts, sometimes they're better, sometimes they're worse, but that's up to the customer to decide if they want to put into a particular product.
Yeah, and you should not hinder your products to be like, you only take these particular products of ours, and then if we detect that's not, we're going to turn it off. That's bull.
Right.
Which Apple and John Deere both do.
So John Deere is trying to present, we have repair options and we're giving those repair options to our customers. No. Apple did the same thing. They said, well, for select iPhones, we're now going to be able to sell screens to authorized repair facilities, and they can and screws and screws, and then they can basically give us a core charge for the broken screen so we can prove that they actually replaced a screen and not just had a screen on hand, because that would be beneficial to the customer in the end. Right.
Yeah.
Support right to repair. Don't buy this bullshit.
Nope. Keep fighting the fight.
Yes. We're going to skip the rest.
So. All right. Well, we can just go. So Heineken's releasing a digital beer, which is absolutely nothing. It's stupid. It's in the metaverse
beer.
It's the first actual metaverse beer.
It's worse than non-alcoholic. It charges you something. It doesn't even go in you.
Exactly. Szechuan sauce is back at McDonald's. Thank you for a limited time. Thank you, Rick and Morty.
Second time it's been back. Second time it's been back since Rick and Morty.
Exactly. And YouTube is giving you a bunch of free TV shows.
With ads.
So normal TV. All right.
Star Trek time.
Which everyone is here for.
We got 20 minutes. Star Trek Picard, Season 2, Episode 3.
I did not, so I didn't get to the end of the last episode, or last of talking. Did you talk?
We talked Episode 2.
Okay, so we are all caught up. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, so we're good. Okay, so
end of Episode 2. Let's say end of Episode 2.
Okay,
because
end of episode.
The Borg Queen is now on the ship. They successfully travel back in time, and we see.
Which I actually liked. I like that sequence.
I loved the first 2 episodes. I really did, and I will say,
okay.
I really enjoyed the 3rd episode too.
Okay. The 3rd episode was 50-50 for me.
It's got some aspects in it that I question, but at the same time, if I just go, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy the ride. I'm enjoying the ride.
Okay, that I'll agree.
There are some aspects of like, yeah, totally. Raffi knew how to, pop the slide off a 45 Glock, and I'm letting those go. I'm letting go that kind of thing, and I'm trying to focus just because those are done for mass appeal or like, yeah, go Raffi. And I get that. It's still character building, even if it doesn't make sense in timeline. But
well, then there was a character development with Raffi that was like, okay, this doesn't make any sense personally, but whatever. Okay, maybe they'll go with somewhere quickly. Okay, end of 2. I really enjoyed though the because we're going to talk about the end. I really enjoyed the time warp sequence because it was very reminiscent of, I think it was Star Trek. Voyage home. Exactly. So I was like, all right, I really like that.
Here, Captain.
Exactly. I'm glad they didn't do the popping of the heads and everything, but still,
Yeah. No,
very reminiscent.
the warp jump around the sun, and you're skimming the surface of it and whatnot. It's not a Klingon warbird this time. It's Rios' ship, the Santa Maria or whatever the bloody hell he calls
whatever it's called.
The unremarkable, unrecognizable ship that Rios commands.
Yes, I still really like that sequence, and it felt very like it pays homage to that part. So I like that. And then we'll skip this. Then episode 3.
Now hold on. Episode 2 ends with a very important sequence, and that's that they line up Seven, Raffi, and Rios on the transporter after much angst amongst the crew about how they should next proceed, because they're telling Picard, we're not going to trust the Borg Queen. We're not going to, I'm not going to, Elnor died because you wanted to save the Queen, and screw you, and I'm going to go find the Watcher myself and whatnot.
And that was my character development with Raffi, because, okay, this goes back to season 1.
Yeah.
Raffi was supposed to be a very trusted officer with Picard after Riker left.
Right.
And then now, for all reasons, she doesn't understand him and doesn't trust him.
I wouldn't say doesn't trust him. I would say, because here's the sequence. Basically, they're trying to get away from the Confederation and make the jump through time. They've stolen the Borg Queen, kidnapped the Borg Queen from her execution. They're on board Rios' ship. And the Confederation boards them, which happens to be 7 of 9, Annika's husband and chief of state, essentially. They turn and they shoot Elnor. Why Elnor? Well, because he's a Romulan. And this is
the Romulans at that stage were slaves.
Right. Yeah. And Raffi helped the Romulan escape, and the Romulan killed like 12 guards in 3 seconds, which was a great sequence, by the way. Anyway,
I like episode 2.
Yeah, episode 2 was great. Anyway, Elnor gets shot. Elnor dies. Just straight up. Just Elnor dies. And Picard didn't have enough power in the ship to keep the biobed functional, and they were saying, we need to transfer, power to medical and whatnot, and Picard is saying, no, we need to keep the Borg Queen alive, because the Borg Queen is the only person who can tell us where the Watcher is, so we can write the timeline. And if we don't find the Watcher, then Elnor died in vain. And the future will die with him, essentially, is what Picard said. And Raffi goes off on an absolute repost of Picard of, how dare you, and I don't trust you, and whatnot, because Raffi felt so strongly about Elnor. It was very much a maternal relationship that the two had, kind of like Picard and Elnor.
Well, yeah, because we see in episode 1 that, and again, so the difference between season 1 and this season is 1.5, 2 years,
18
essentially.
months,
yeah. So during that time, Elnor went into Starfleet Academy, and Raffi took him under her wing.
Yeah.
She was head of security, right? She was security, not number 1.
No, she was a commander of the Excelsior.
Okay, so
she was first officer of the Excelsior. She was the head of Starfleet security, or Confederate security, in the alternate timeline.
Okay, that I think that's right. Yeah. So, but she had a security background, obviously. I think that was also implied in season 1.
Yes.
I think there was a security background. But I guess that was my problem, was after the theoretical story point was after William Riker was her. And then all of Jean-Luc Picard's adventures past that was with her. And then this obvious traumatic incident where she took someone under her wing, which Picard already took under his wing, type of a passing of the torch, something, of a pupil, maybe along that lines. She then takes it extremely personal, maybe because she doesn't see Picard doing it as much as her, or what, but then just goes off.
Yeah.
Which there was that speech of you're playing games with Q and you always play games with Q.
Right.
It's like, oh no, it's quite obvious. Jean-Luc's been irritated constantly with Q.
Which I will say, but from the viewpoint of Raffi, who is this Q and why does he get to dictate your life? And people are dying and you don't seem to care. All you're doing is playing Q's game. Like I totally get the mindset that they're trying to put her in. From a certain point of view. Anyway, episode 2 ends with the three lining up on the transporter, and they're saying, you know, good luck. Girardi and I are going to stay here, try to wake up the queen, try to find out what we can. You three, Rios, Raffi, and Seven, please go out into LA and find what you can. So they get transported out, but the transporter doesn't have enough power, and so they get transported to 3 random locations. Raffi gets transported into the middle of a homeless camp and immediately mugged, which she beats the hell out of the mugger, and disassembles the slide on his Glock and tosses it aside and whatnot. Seven,
it's amazing a homeless person has a Glock.
Right. Seven transports into this little, park in LA and materializes in front of a little girl, and the little girl goes, "Are you a superhero?" And Seven bends over and goes, "Can you keep a secret?" And I went, "That's cute.
I like that.
That's adorable.
I like that scene. I like that scene. Yeah, that was fun.
And then Rios transports about 3 stories up off of a fire escape, tries to hold himself up, slips, flips once, lands flat on the concrete, and knocks himself cold.
I really actually liked that aspect.
I did too.
Of the computer didn't have enough and they miscalculated.
Yeah.
I really actually liked that little nod, which is I don't know. All around, I just liked that. Hey, a computer miscalculated. I like that.
I really like that aspect, and I like the situation it put Rios in. So Rios wakes up not in a hospital. It's a medical center, and the doctor there specializes in care for immigrants, for illegals, for people who are in the United States illegally. And he loses his comm badge on the way in. Her son picks it up off the floor and is pressing the button, and Seven and Raffi are seeing this and going, is it Morse code? Is it whatever else? And it's the kid just sitting there going, put it up, put it up, put it up, put it up.
He just likes the noise.
Right, exactly. Anyway, Rios spends 12 hours, both being savior / flirting with the nurse, which I think is a great role for him to be.
I thought that was a great storyline.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can easily lead to something which would
exactly
fine.
And Seven and Raffi are scaling up to the highest point in Los Angeles, which is one of the towers that's there, and trying to use their tricorder to scan for any signs of alien activity, any communications, any abnormal readings for what would be in this time, any subspace things. For
the Borg Queen called them the Watchers, and they're basically looking for some form of technology that the Borg Queen was saying there was already an alien race here at the time.
Right. Something that shouldn't be in this timeline, or at least in this time, is there, and that's what you need to find. Meanwhile, Girardi and Picard are diving into the Borg Queen, and I thought this was the highlight of the episode. I thought Girardi with the Borg Queen, I like that interaction.
That was an interesting thing.
I loved it.
As far as Borg goes, I don't know how consistent it was. I liked it. I didn't mind. I didn't mind it. I don't know how consistent it was.
Here's the deal. Anytime we've ever seen the Borg Queen, it's from a place of absolute strength. Now, Janeway, when she was negotiating with the Borg, the Borg were fighting species 8472. They had some issues with, Janeway has some technology that the Borg could use and whatnot, so the Borg relented and negotiated with Janeway. But the Borg were still from very much a place of power and could have easily decimated the Voyager 100 times over. This is the only time we've really seen the Borg as the weakest pawn on the board. As the Borg Queen is the last Borg. The Borg have been eliminated. And the Borg Queen was to be assassinated as the last living member of that race by Admiral Picard. And the Queen has no collective. The Queen has no other mind power. It has no outward, collective of thought. And what we're seeing now is someone like Girardi can be hooked into the hive mind, which is, by the way, just Girardi and the Queen at that point, and can outsmart the Queen in her own realm. And
so
I kind of like that.
Okay, so I just came up with this thought just now. So here's the consistency issue I might have. And this goes back to First Contact, where First Contact then goes back into which is a further date, a little bit later than this time.
Instead of 2024.
Yeah. So
play numbers with me. I will beat you.
Oh, it's fine. No, I knew. Oh, I got some more number games. I have a number question for you actually later. But in First Contact, the Borg then used the deflector shield to communicate with Borg.
They were attempting to contact Borg because from that time in the Delta Quadrant.
And so she was already in control of his ship. Not Rafi's ship, Rios' ship, because in episode 2 she took control and then eventually, took over helm
and
everything because she's like, I need to do this to save everyone. I'm going to power now to go back in time.
Which, by the way, how freaking amazing is the Borg Queen?
That I do like her so far. Character-wise, I do really like her so far. I really do like her. So at this current moment, she's already hooked up completely to the ship. Theoretically, she should be able to not have to redo the deflector shield because this starship is already more advanced than the Enterprise E.
I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know. Well, that's
Enterprise E was
the
Enterprise E was the flagship only 15 years earlier. Like,
but
I understand the progression of technology, but
you see where I'm going. Okay, she's already integrated to the whole entire ship. Theoretically, couldn't she, if they reactivated her, communicate with Borg that are in that time frame?
They could.
And then her collectiveness that she's missing be reattached.
Now, here's the deal. In First Contact, they were adding on to the deflector dish to amplify communication signals. So it's not like she could just activate the deflector dish. The deflector dish is for warp travel and can emit certain frequencies to, diffract cosmic dust and prevent them from, Zimmerman particles going straight through your brain and killing you because you happen to be at warp. But trust me, I'm deep into lore. I'm to Star Trek what Colbert is to Tolkien.
15 years is a lot in Trek
lore. It is,
lore.
but how strong is the communications array on
I don't know, but because they have
Rios's puddle jumper of a ship?
But she has complete and total control.
That doesn't allow her to do physical modifications to the deflector dish, which took 12 drones.
But if the deflector dish is already as powerful...
John, if you have to invent technology to explain a conspiracy theory, it's a bad conspiracy theory.
They had to invent technology on the Enterprise E.
Which required physical adaptation. She is hanging from a vine. Okay?
That technology, it's Star Trek. They can do whatever they want.
Now we're getting off topic here, because you also
I'm just saying it's odd.
If you say "what if" to everything that happens in sci-fi, you will never enjoy sci-fi. This is why Star Wars fans are the worst fans ever.
Beer.
Yeah, there you go. I'm trying to be less critical of aspects like that. Now, if you say the words sequel vulnerability or firewall or anything like that in the course of this series, I will burn it to the ground. Don't go CSI with me. Don't go, mainstream technobabble. Keep it, we needed to emit a tachyon field that would blah, 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 blah. Keep it vague enough, but inside canon, and I'm fine. Like, I don't ask much from my sci-fi. It's why I enjoyed the heck out of the Book of Boba Fett, even though a lot of people went like, well, it's no Mandalorian, and in fact 2 episodes were from the Mandalorian. Well, yeah, the stories tied together. Of course they were.
Yeah, I like the Mandalorian,
and it told a fantastic story.
Boba Fett. Yeah, I like the Book of Fett.
And you know, you didn't get to write it, so you don't get to say whether you thought this is what Luke should have been. Someone else decided what Luke is, and you can decide whether you enjoy it or not. You can't say, well, that's not in his character. Not for you to decide. So I'm trying to take more of a hands-off approach with this season of Picard, and I did this with last season of Picard too. And while I rated last season of Picard, I think a 6.5 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10.
I think he gave like a 7.2, 7.3.
Yeah, it was right in that, C- range. It's because there were a couple episodes that are legitimately 8 or 9. Like, especially the last two.
First two of Picard were like season 1.
Solid. Yeah, the first two and the last two were their strongest episodes, and they were.
I don't know, like maybe second to last. I don't know. There were issues with the last.
The ending scene with Data was amazing. It is so hard to discredit even the lead up in that episode to that ending scene, because that ending scene is so great.
There are other parts in that episode that I have questions
and
with.
I have questions, but at the same time, it's like, here's a hot take. Star Trek and TV in general would be better served if they stopped trying to fit within the norms of TV in general. Tell the story, don't worry about a 42-minute runtime. Who the hell cares about 42-minute runtime anymore? No one but network TV, which runs 18 minutes of commercials per hour of television, cares about a 42-minute runtime. I watch one ad for something that's also on Paramount Plus before I load up Star Trek Picard, and then I watch the entire thing ad-free. What does it matter if the episode is 32 minutes or 54?
Okay, so here's my counterpoint to that. I'm not disagreeing, but here's a counterpoint to that, is that you are limiting yourself then to a single story in a single world, where episodic stuff could give you a broader world representation.
I think the problem is actually the opposite of that. I think by limiting yourself to 42 minutes and only 42 minutes, not over, not under, is you are cutting some aspects of a story that otherwise should be told, and you are overtelling some aspects of a story or inventing monologue or dialogue or act or sequences where they don't need to be.
Sure.
Tell your story rather than matching a time length.
But yeah, sure, I'll go with the time length thing, but I'm saying episodic things of like, there are times of overextending a story to being too long, to where like I believe we agreed that Picard season 1 could have been 7-8 episodes.
It could have been 7 or 8 episodes. But here's the deal. It still could have been 10 episodes, but you cut out the 8-minute sequence of Raffi seeing her son. Because I don't need that character building. And so all of a sudden that episode is 34 minutes instead of 42.
And that's fine.
Like I said, so by stretching out and saying we have to have 42 minutes of content, or we can only have 42 minutes of content.
But the best part about a lot of the older Star Trek was the episodicness of building small parts of characters.
Correct.
And we understand that. And so unfortunately, it feels modern stuff is more
that the old episodes of Star Trek had 25 episodes per season. We're dealing with 8 to 10.
Well, that's a choice.
And so
I believe that's a choice.
It's choice, it's budget, it's everything. And so if you're not going to do episodic content, if you're not going to do episode 1 exists in a bubble and episode 2 then exists in a, you can still tell an overarching story, but TNG and DS9 and Voyager and Enterprise were episodic. They were 25 episodes to a season. And sure, DS9 and Voyager told an overarching story. TNG told some overarching stories, but man, was that really loose.
It was very loose, but it was more of a architectural of here's who the Federation
correct.
is.
It's character building of a universe, but you're not there's no overarching story from one episode to the next episode. It doesn't matter where you were, so you can turn on any episode of Star Trek, and as long as you're familiar with the universe, you get it.
Well, I guess that's the nice part.
That is a nice part. With DS9, they're still telling an overarching story, but they have 25 episodes to do so. And even then, they can tell 5 stories in a row, 5 episodes in a row that have nothing to do with the main story. And it doesn't matter because you can drop right in and watch it. With Star Trek Picard, you're trying to tell an overlying story, and you're trying to keep an audience engaged, but you're doing it across 10 episodes, so you can't take an episode that's entirely to develop Raffi as a character or Elnor as a character, even though that's exactly what they did, which is why episodes 3 and episodes 4 of season 1 were not that great, because it's like, what does this have to do with the story you're trying to tell? So, if it was 25 episodes and they're introducing Elnor as a character, and then Elnor has major events for like 3 episodes that happen, I get that episode. But because it was only 10 episodes, you're building a character up for one moment and then dropping off the face of the earth.
I guess that could be my problem then of the, okay, you know, then I wouldn't mind rather than a 2-part season of here is 5 episodes of 2 different stories.
Right.
I'm just not, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining so far of season 2. I'm really not complaining so far of season 2.
What I will say is season 2 so far is doing a better job of simply telling the story instead of trying to get lost in its own, are we episodic or are we telling a story? Is this a mini series or is this Star Trek? Because season 1 tried to still be very episodic. It had a beginning and an end, and then that was it. Except for episode 9 to 10, which was really a like cliffhanger, and then we'll see how it turns out. They
did have a lot of individual adventures, but they just, in my opinion, didn't execute them extremely well. So you had to look at it as a broad story. So I'll agree with that. Yeah, sure.
But season 1 was very fragmented in that episode 3. We're going to, instead of investigating this main story plot, we're going to fly out for 3 days to see Elnor, who may or may not like Picard and may or may not do this thing. Like, why are we wasting that much time? And so episodically, that makes sense in the character building of Picard and Elnor and that relationship, and it helps explain Raffi and her connection with Elnor and everything else. But did it help tell the main story that they were really trying to tell? And the answer is no, it didn't. What I like that they're doing in season 2 is they're saying to heck with the episodic nature of it, of making a cut and dry story in episode 1 where you can watch episode 1 and you get everything beginning to end, and they're leaving it with a cliffhanger. And it leads right into episode 2. It's the same story progression. And I think that's really what was missing from season 1. Was there was a cut and dry end. You could have cut the season there, and it still kind of made sense. Like, you didn't, like, yeah, the main story didn't end itself, but their individual adventure had ended in that particular episode. This one, it's all one big adventure with some little stories spiced in there. And I think as a mini series, as a 10-part series, which is what season 2 is, that makes more sense than trying to take the original Star Trek approach, which is 25 episodes, and we could spend 5 episodes developing characters. Which season 1 spent 5 episodes developing characters and then 5 episodes shoehorning a story.
Yeah, it was horrible. So, yeah, I'm not saying it was horrible, but it just wasn't great.
Right.
My personal perspective is it's too early to tell. Mm-hmm. That's my personal. I get the points that you're trying to make, and I see it of like there are hints exactly what you're stating. It makes perfect sense. You're like, hey, this is kind of what they're hinting at. Great if they can, but unfortunately, we don't know if they're going to continue that. If they continue that, great. If not, we don't know. Unfortunately.
Now there's so we've got like 2 minutes left.
I was going to try to just hit back to episode 3 and try to hit just episode 3.
Episode 3. So we see Girardi going toe to toe with the Borg Queen, and the Borg Queen said, "You've done something very foolish. You've impressed me," which I
like that line.
I like that line. I love the back and forth with the Borg Queen. Whose hand is this? Mine. I thought that play and between those two characters was amazingly well done.
I like that. Yeah.
Man, Girardi's been one of my favorite characters the entire time, season 1 and season 2 altogether. But man, is she coming alive in season 2? Really,
I like her better now than I did in season 1.
She made spot 47.
I
like,
did not
there's
like
references within references within references of that one little screenshot of her talking to Spot, her animated pet.
Oh, I love that part of the alternate. And she had Spot. And I was like, oh, I totally get all of this.
It was Spot 47, which is code for Elcar's 47, and it's Spot, which is Data's cat.
And Data's, yeah, exactly. Oh, I got
so
it all.
good.
Oh, all right. So quickly though, I want to put out the number, and this is I don't know if they purposely did this or not.
Okay.
Do you know the year? The reference of the year?
2399, isn't it?
2224
or 2024, which is
2024.
Yeah, they went back to 2 years from now.
What year as a DS9 fan is that?
Right, that is the start of Sanctuary Zones. That is the Bell Riots.
The Bell Riots.
Yes. No,
exactly.
I know that. And Cisco, Bashir, and O'Brien were arrested in the Bell Riots because they didn't have UHCs or passports, essentially, which is exactly what Rios was arrested for. It says no UHC, no ID. You're going away. Exactly. They used the exact same verbiage that they did in the Bell Riots.
I like that. So awesome. I was curious. It didn't. Now, obviously, tech and look of everything's different, but I don't really care about that part.
Right. It's telling stories from 2 different generations of the same timeline, which is going to look different. And so yes. I don't mind little discrepancies like that.
I don't. Yeah, exactly.
I think the question going into episode 4, which I've not seen yet,
which will be in
an hour.
Is it posted today? No, in 2 hours.
Yeah, hour and a half. This has been driving the internet crazy, and that is, who is the Watcher? Who's the Watcher going to be? And there's so many guesses from Sarah Silverman.
Oh God, please no.
No, she was the astrologist in Voyager.
No. I've heard Avery Brooks.
I've heard Cisco. It's not going to be Cisco as a Bajoran emissary. It's not going to be Cisco or Avery Bell.
It's just going to be some alien
because he was 400 miles away and in a different month, supposedly. It's going to be freaking Soong. Who else would it be? We know that Brent Spiner returns as a Soong in Star Trek Picard Season 2. Like, that was part of their main advertising point, is that Brent Spiner is still a part of this, even if he's not playing Data. He's playing a Soong ancestor. We're looking for a Watcher, and they're trying to build up, like, all this drama, and they're like, well, is it Guinan? Well, we know that Guinan was around in the 1840s and so on. Guinan's over 350 years old. Like, we know Guinan existed back then. But I don't think it's going to be Guinan. I don't think Guinan is the Watcher.
Okay, so
because Guinan would have said.
Yeah, no. How I took the trailer of him being there and the interaction with Q was Q talking to him in the present where he left Picard. That's how I took the trailer,
and it totally could have been, but
it could. But we know
Dr. Soong is going to be present in this timeline.
But then that wouldn't be Dr. Soong. It would be like his great
right.
It would Soong, and so it'd be like his great grandfather.
Right. Which, by the way, the genes
and then
those
they all look the same.
Right.
You know, I mean, because he was in Enterprise as the original Dr. Soong.
Yeah.
So they all look the same.
Right. Well, Brett Spiner was in Enterprise as the original Dr. Soong, but that was a holographic representation of the original Dr. Soong because Riker said end program and walked off the holodeck onto the bridge of the Titan.
No. They had the Clone Wars. They had part of the eugenics wars, and Dr. Soong.
If you think about Star Trek Enterprise, it's Riker saying end program as playing the part of the cook or whoever he was.
No, it's a season before that. It's season 6. Yeah, it's season 4.
Do we know that Riker was not just viewing the entire Enterprise? Because I took Riker is watching historical documentation of what happened on the
all
Enterprise.
Of Enterprise.
Right. That's what I took that ending to mean.
Oh, I didn't take that.
And I love that in Lower Decks, Riker comes up and goes, "Hey, I was just on the holodeck seeing the original Enterprise and Archer and those guys. Man, that it's been a long road getting from there to here." I love that reference in Lower Decks.
No, so everyone talks about like Trek not being like as good as it was. Okay, I agree. Lower Decks.
Lower Decks is as good as Trek has ever been.
As good as Trek has ever been.
And
Lower Decks is every fanboy's dream because there's the comedy, the humor that everyone wants. Picard is second best.
What I will say, Picard season 1, C-. Like that's been my overall judgment of it, even on multiple watch throughs. C-. It's got some really high points. It's got some points that I could do without.
Yeah,
it's much better than Discovery, because I feel like Discovery is being written by people who go, "What's a Klingon? I don't know. Let's paint him purple and sparkly."
Yeah,
it might be a decent show if you're just along for the ride, but at the same time, it's just such a different feel. And they've done so much with trying to integrate, like, oh, instead of Spock being like from the Academy and joining Kirk or joining Pike on the original Enterprise, it's like, oh no, he served on like 4 ships before that. And it was like, really? Like, it feels like they're rewriting history for fan service. And they're also being written by people who wrote CSI Miami instead of people who are lifelong Star Trek fans. And
exactly. There's no congruity or anything like that. They're just like,
exactly.
We've heard of this, so let's just throw it in there.
Right.
And then somehow SQL managed to sneak its way in.
If SQL still exists in 2307, please someone shoot me.
Yeah. But okay, so
but season 2, I have the most anticipation for, even with Lower Deck season 3 coming out. Because I feel like this is as close to the most modern Star Trek as we've gotten, as far as back to the TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise days.
Okay.
It's going to be different. It's not going to be the same, but I feel that it's trying to get back to that hardcore Star Trek canon that Discovery is trying so hard to break away from and be mainstream.
All right. So I think let's try to end on how. Oh, you're almost done with your bitters. I'm already. Oh, hang on.
This warmed on me. This really warmed on me. It's very thin. But I still taste coconut. I don't taste any bourbon.
That's always good.
Right. But it's way less bitter than it started as.
Okay.
And I think the carbonation going down played a huge part in that. I think whatever they did for carbonation was way overly bitter. I mean, it's not a terrible beer, but if I read you the words bourbon barrel aged dark beer brewed with coconut, your expectations are wildly different than the beer.
Oh, yeah. So, well, I mean, then you gotta ask: is $1.50, Jeff? It
was $1.50, right?
So, but okay, so yeah. I think we should end on some final thoughts on Trek, and then we can end it. I wrap this up. So I believe season 2 right now has the potential to be much better than season 1 of Picard.
Yes.
I'm highly so far as a majority enjoying season 2. The aspect of possibly Q being sick, because that was hinted at. Unwell. What's going on? He's not quite as playful. I do like playful Q a bit more, but again,
we're not getting mariachi Q. We're getting snarky,
sinister. Something's wrong.
We're getting getting far point Q.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Some aspects I don't like, or not. It's just like, it's going too far.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, seriously enjoying season 2. Looking forward to tomorrow's episode. I'm pretty sure we've seen a lot of clips from, I'm assuming is going to be tomorrow's episode in trailers. Yep. Of the escape from the police and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting
Seven and Raffi busting Rios out from prison.
I'm not
stealing the
expecting
police
too much from
van.
tomorrow's episode.
Which, by the way, they can all drive stick. It's weird.
Yeah, right. I'm not expecting
Enjoy
too
the
much
ride.
from
Enjoy
tomorrow's.
the ride.
It's gonna be more the continuation of the story of the lead on, and so that's what I'm really hoping for.
Yeah. Descent Garage says, hey man, saw your gear for sale on Twitter. I'd love to buy your Sony ZV-E10. My DMs are open on Twitter. Please reach out on DM because I will forget tonight, no doubt. I do have one person interested in the ZV-10 already, who already reached out. I'm holding it for them, but for 24 hours. So, but reach out still, and I think you're second in line for that. Anyway. This has been episode 228 of Talking Heads. Join us every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news. Subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already. Drop this video a like. If you like the beer content on this channel, subscribe to Hops and Brews, who has drank 90 beers straight for your enjoyment with no food in between.
That's right.
So, John, keep it going. Let us know how it goes. And man, you will still be on the beer fast when you join us next time. You'll be on day 34.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'll be a stick figure by then.
Yes.
17 pounds, Jeff.
Damn.
17 pounds down.
I might need to try that.
I feel great. So it's a great diet.
I'm going to write that down. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us.